Hello everybody. Thought I'd try another video. This time I'm going to try to put together two different games and see if I can't do a hybrid and make them work together. One board game, one PC game. I haven't done one yet for Strat-o-matic, so I'm doing the Strat-o-matic card set, 2014 season. I'm in a replay right now of the 2014 Baltimore Orioles, and as you can see, I've got my notebook here where I've got previous score sheets. You can see this game here that was played April 19th, which they beat Boston 9-5. You can see the score sheet there, and I've tallied up the defensive things. I didn't type in or write in the batting order. Here I did. Some of these I had more time. I went ahead and filled in all the batting. You can see what they did to Toronto that game, 16-3. But anyway, I played through the month of April. Last game played was April 27th, hosting Kansas City. They faced a deficit of 3-2 going into the bottom of the ninth and facing Greg Holland, the closer for Kansas City. However, leading off the bottom of the ninth, I pinch hit Matt Wieters for Steve Clevenger, and he greeted Holland with his 6th home run of the year, and that brought the game to extra innings. Got into the Kansas City bullpen outside of the big three. So in the bottom of the 10th, with Louis Coleman in there for Kansas City, Nelson Cruz hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 10th. So that brought the Orioles record now to 13-11 through the month of April. They had off days and rainouts that has now brought them to May 1st, and that is a doubleheader against Pittsburgh. So I'm getting ready to start that now. I've actually partially started it, and I played the top of the first already, and the Orioles have not gone well in the top of the first. As we can see up here, using the Replay Baseball PC version of the 2014 season, Pittsburgh is winning 3-0 thanks to a Pedro Alvarez 3-run home run off of Bud Norris. They now lead it 3-0. But what I'm doing is I'm playing the Strat-o-matic card game, Cards and Dice, getting my result and entering it on the direct entry here on the PC replay game. And so that's allowing me to keep my stats going, cumulative, for my Strat-o-matic season. And so I'm playing the Orioles only. I'm allowing the replay game on the computer to simulate the other games within the season. And so having done that, the Pirates are entering this game with a record of 14-12, while the Orioles are 13-11. So Baltimore is coming up to bat to face Charlie Morton, the Pittsburgh starter. Leading off will be, for the Orioles, will be Jamel Weeks. And that's where we run into one problem. Jamel Weeks only had a few at-bats for the Orioles, or had limited at-bats, I should say. So Strat-o-matic did not make a card for him. I bought the 14 season along with the extra players, but not every player gets carded, and I like to do an exact seasonal replay with the exact lineups. So therefore, Jamel Weeks is in the starting lineup for the Orioles, but I don't have a card for him. So that makes a dilemma. And the way I resolve that dilemma in true Strat-o-matic fashion is a 50-50 split. I roll the dice, and if the result is a 1, 2, or 3, which would be the batter's card for Jamel Weeks, then I will default that at bat to the Replay Baseball computer game and let the computer game play out that at bat. If I roll a 4, 5, or 6, I treat it as if Jamel Weeks had a card, because we wouldn't be looking at it anyway, and I would go to the pitcher card and just take that result as it were. So we shall see what happens here. Bottom of the first, like I said, Pittsburgh leading 3-0. If you look at the scorecard from the top of the first, I'll give you a quick rundown of what happened. Jose Tabata led off with a double. he made it to third on a ground out to second by Ike Davis for the first out. Andrew McCutchen walked to put runners at the corners, and then Alvarez hit his home run, his 8th of the season, a 3-run shot, and that scored Tabata and McCutchen, which is why they have E's in the middle of their diamond, because that represents earned runs, and little 4s at the bottom represents the 4th batter. Pedro Alvarez was the one who drove them in. And then after that, Norris settled down, got Gaby Sanchez to ground to short, and got Neil Walker to ground to first unassisted. And that's where we're staying right now with the score. Pittsburgh 3, Baltimore coming to bat. May 1, 14, Game 1 of a doubleheader. So due up now, like I said, is Jamel Weeks. Jamel Weeks, I believe it's how it's actually pronounced. And I've got my dice in my little tray. So we will roll this for Jamel Weeks. If I roll the white die as a 1, 2, or 3, then we will default to the Replay Baseball computer version and let the replay game play out the at-bat. If I roll a 4, 5, or 6, then we'll just take Charlie Morton's result and go with it as if we had a card for Jamel Weeks. So here we go. Here's the roll for Jamel. It is a 5-4. So we can just go to Charlie Morton's card. Jamel Weeks is a switch hitter, so that means he's batting left-handed against Charlie Morton. So we'll go to the blue section. And it is a 5-4, so column 5, number 4 is a fly out to center field with an X on it. X means we need to check the range of the center fielder. In this case, Andrew McCutchen, who is a very good center fielder. And if we look at the rating for McCutchen, Strat-o-matic rating, he is listed as a 1. Which is the best rating you can get as a fielder. Range-wise, he is a 1. So, we're going to go and roll the 20-sided die. And the 20-sided die will tell us what happened with this event with McCutchen on defense. So the roll is a 7. So we go to the center fielder, advanced fielding chart, center fielder, 7 and a 1 is a fly ball C. And with the bases empty, the letters don't really mean anything. The main thing to be concerned about is it was a fly out to center field. So coming over to the score sheet, Jamel Weeks will fly to center. That's an 8 there, even though it's kind of rough looking. Go up to the computer version, find the fly with the F, which is the signal for a fly out. And then the number 8, since the center fielder was the one who caught it, McCutchen. That is now registered. You see 1 out. And now we see the next batter is Nelson Cruz. So we go back to the cards, because now we do have a card for Nelson Cruz, obviously. So we've got the Charlie Morton card there, and we've got the Nelson Cruz card here. Righty on righty, 1 out, bases empty. We're back to rolling. Here we go. And the roll is a 5-10. So it's Charlie Morton's card again. 5 being the pitcher card. And we're going to look at the red section since Cruz is right-handed. Column 5, row 10 is a fly ball, left field C. But you also see a little upside down triangle beside that entry. That means we're going to engage the ballpark chart, the ballpark effects chart. So for Baltimore's Camden Yards, the chart here says anything a 1 through 9 is a single, and anything else, since it's a right-handed batter, would be a line out to short if he rolls a 10 through a 20. So we need to engage the 20-sided die once again. 1 through 9 is a single, 10 through 20 is a line out to short, and he rolls a 2. So instead of being an out, which is what was on the original card, which was a fly ball to left field C, thanks to the 2, it is a base hit for Nelson Cruz. So put the little line there saying he got his single. Come up here to the computer version, find the little S for single, click on that, and Nelson Cruz is right there on first base. can see they've already moved the infield in halfway at double play depth. And next batter is Nick Markakis. All right, so Nelson Cruz is done. We're done with the fielding chart for the ballpark chart for now. And now we will look at Nick Markakis. Now an Atlanta Brave, but an Oriole staple for many years. So we'll see what Markakis can do with Cruz on first. We're not going to do any fancy hit and runs or any of that stuff. Down 3-0, we're just going to do straight up, and we roll. And we get a 2-9. 2-9. So Markakis facing the right-hander Morton. We will look at the red section, column 2, row 9, and that is a split chance. 2-9 is a split chance. A double if he rolls a 1 through 2 on the D20, or a single star if he rolls a 3 through 20. So it's most likely going to be a single, but even so, that would move Cruz to third. But we'll roll it just in case we get a 1 or a 2, it could be a double. And there's the roll. It's an 11, so it is a single for Markakis, but it's a star single, so that means Cruz motors in to third base. So on my score sheet, I have the single for Markakis. I put the number 3 in what's roughly the third base position to show that Nelson Cruz made it to third base based on the third batter, Nick Markakis, and what he did. So runners are at the corners with 1 out, so we go to the computer screen, and you can see they have a single. They also have an S+. And when you hit S+, that's the equivalent of the star on the Strat-o-matic game, and it moved Cruz over to third base. So runners are at the corners. There's only 1 out, and the cleanup hitter, Adam Jones. I got land on the brain. Adam Jones is up. Runners on the corners. 1 out. Trying to avoid the double play and at least get a run in here somehow to close the gap. So we'll see what he rolls. And the roll is a 5-7. Charlie Morton. His card, since it's a 5. We're looking in the red because Jones is a right-handed hitter, and a 5-7 is a walk. So the walk to Adam Jones actually will load the bases with 1 out. And so on the score sheet, I've got my walk there. Walk is right here. And then I've got the number 4 here at the second base slot saying that Adam Jones is the one who pushed Markakis up to second base. So the bases are loaded. 1 out. We come up to the replay game entry. Type in the BB. And we've got the bases loaded. A good feature they have also is this eraser. So if I make a mistake, or if anybody's doing this makes a mistake, types in the wrong entry, hits the strikeout by mistake, or hits something else by mistake, you can erase that at bat and start over again and re-enter it correctly. So it's sort of like the Strat-o-matic undo version or delete last play version. So anyway, now we've got the bases loaded. There's still only 1 out. And Delmon Young, the designated hitter, is up for the Orioles. So we'll see what he can do with the bases loaded and only 1 out against Charlie Morton. And the roll is a 1-10. Could be good for the hitter. We'll see. 1 versus a right-hander, so we're in the red category, a 1-10, and that's a single to right field. It's got right field in the parentheses, so we know where that base hit went. It went to right field. That can determine whether we want to take an extra base or not. So right now we know we got 1 run for sure because Delmon Young just got a hit that drove in Nelson Cruz with the first run. Markakis could stop at third if he wanted to. We could stop Markakis at third, leave the bases loaded with 1 out, or you could take a chance and risk it and have Markakis try to score against Jose Tabata's arm. In Strat-o-matic, Jose Tabata, let's see what his defensive rating, arm rating is. Jose Tabata's arm rating, throw rating is a 4. I'm sorry, it is a 0. It is a 0. I was looking at the wrong thing. It is a 0, which means he has an average arm. He doesn't aid the runner and he doesn't hurt the runner. So then you're looking at the speed rating of Markakis. And the speed rating for Markakis is a 1 through 11. So it'd be an 11. So you basically would have a 1 through 11 roll on a D20 to score, or a 12 through 20 he would be out. Since we're down 3-0, I think the prudent move would be to play station-to-station baseball for the moment. So that's what I'm going to do as the Oriole manager, Buck Showalter. I'm going to just have everybody go up one base. So on the score sheet, we see Delmon Young gets his single. We see Cruz now has scored via the earned run with a number 5 at home plate, saying he scored based on the 5th batter. Markakis went from 2nd to 3rd on the 5th batter, and Adam Jones went from 1st to 2nd on the 5th batter. So the bases are still loaded, and we're looking at the catcher, Steve Clevenger. So Steve Clevenger is up. Bases are still loaded. Bases are still loaded for Steve Clevenger, only 1 out. So we'll see what he can do here, but first we need to go up and notate the entry, direct entry. So we're not going to give it a single plus plus or single plus. We're just going to do straight single. That moves everybody up 1 base. Everybody's still station to station. Delmon Young's down 1st. Jones is now at 2nd. Markakis is at 3rd. And Steve Clevenger is the batter. So Steve Clevenger coming up. We'll roll a 2-4 for Steve Clevenger. I'm going to use his card since it was a 2. We're going to go to the batter card in the right-hand column. 2 column and row 4. And 2 column, row 4 is GB, ground ball pitcher A. Now that's where the alphabet starts coming into play. That's a ground ball back to the pitcher. The A notates that it is going to be a double play when there's a runner on first base. So whether there's a runner on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, as long as there's a runner on first base, is a double play. So the scoring on that could be 1-4-3 or 1-6-3. Since Clevenger was a left-handed batter, normally what they would have is the shortstop covering 2nd. So I'm going to call it a 1-6-3 double play. And I know people denote on their score sheets differently than I do on this, but here is how I do it. I come over to the score sheet and I write in 1-6 on the Delmon Young's score area because he was on first base. He is out 1-6 with the number 2 saying 2nd out. And then I come down to Clevenger and write 6-3 DP. So that way I know when I put the 2 together, it's 1-6-3 double play. That means I know that the pitcher got an assist, the shortstop had a putout, the shortstop had an assist, and the first baseman had a putout. Some people will put 1-6-3 and then 6-3, and then when you go back to tally, you can lose track of putouts and assists. So it's just a method that I've kind of adopted there. So anyway, that kind of stinks. Took away the big inning from the Orioles. So we go up to the PC game, and there's spots down toward the bottom that you can use. Let me see if I can get a little close up of this. That we can use for double plays. And our double play was 1-6-3. So let me find 1-6-3, which is right there. 1-6-3. So watch when I click that, everything will disappear. And they're gone. And the Orioles are back out on the field. So 1 run came in for the Orioles, and that was it. That's all they got. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and play a little bit ahead and wrap this thing up so it doesn't take too long and people fall asleep. Okay, I'm back. What I did is I'm going to show you an alternate method for entering these things, and sometimes it's actually preferable, and that is to play out the game and then go back and enter all the direct entry play-by-play at the very end. Kind of keeps you from breaking the rhythm, because once you start rolling these dice, you kind of get into a nice rhythm. So what I've done is I've already played the 2nd and the 3rd inning, and I've already entered the 3rd inning, but I have not entered the 2nd inning of results. I'm sorry, the 3rd inning of results. So if we come over to the score sheet, And we can see on the computer, first of all, that we are in the top of the third with Tabata leading off back to the top of the order. So what has happened on the rolls that I've just done for the third inning, we see that Tabata has grounded out 4-3. Ike Davis has grounded out to short 6-3. And McCutchen has flied to center for the third out. In the bottom of the third, we had Adam Jones strike out, Delmon Young struck out, and Steve Clevenger grounded to third. So, to do a down and dirty entry and get it done really quickly after that, we go to the direct entry screen, and the first choice for Tabata is a 4-3, and that is, if I can get the thing focused correctly, 4-3 is right there. There's where the cursor is, 4-3, one down. The next batter was grounded to short, 6-3. And then McCutchen came up and fly to center. So we do F for fly and 8 for center. And now that takes us to the bottom of the third. And at the bottom of the third, leading off, of course, was Adam Jones. And he unfortunately whiffed. Delmon Young behind him also whiffed. And Steve Clevenger grounded to third. So we go on here and find our 5-3 entry, which is right there, grounded to third. So sometimes, and there we go, now we're ready to start the fourth. So sometimes it's beneficial to enter them after the inning's over, or even after the end of the game if need be. I usually never try to go more than 1 or 2 innings ahead, because inevitably I'll run into a situation where I won't have a strat card for somebody and I'm stuck, so I'm going to have to come back to the PC game to clean it up. But let me go through now the top of the fourth without going to the computer. I'm just going to do a straight strat half inning, and we'll see how quickly and smoothly I can get the top of the fourth through without having to stop and do these entries and so forth. So the top of the fourth, Bud Norris still in there obviously, facing Pedro Alvarez, who took him deep for a 3-run homer his first time up. And over on the score sheet we see it is Alvarez, in fact, who is leading off the fourth. So here we go with the top of the fourth, Alvarez up, and we get a 1-11. So Alvarez, column 1, row 11, and that is a split where a single is 1-8, or a line out to second is 9-20. So depends on this D20 again, what we're going to roll. So it's a 1-8 is a single, 9-20 he lines out to Weeks. It is a 15, so Alvarez lines out to Weeks, 1 down, L4. Next batter, Gaby Sanchez. So Gaby Sanchez is up, and Gaby Sanchez rolls a 2-11. 2-11 against Bud Norris. We're in the red. 2-11 is yet another split decision. However, the only way to get a single is to roll a 1 on the D20. Any other result is a line out to short, but we've got to roll it anyway just in case we do get a 1. And we get a 4, so we were close, but it's a line drive out to J.J. Hardy for out number 2. There's the L6, out number 2. All right, quickly 2 away, and Neil Walker, the batter. 2 out, space is empty. And he rolls a 2-3. 2-3 for Neil Walker. 2 and a 3. He is hit by the pitch, HBP. So Neil Walker is there, and he is hit by the pitch. So on those rare occasions, I like to go to the pitcher line and make a check mark by the HB so that I don't forget the fact that he hit a batter. So we've got Neil Walker at first on the hit batsman with 2 outs. And Starling Marte is up. I'm not going to do any stealing or anything. We're just going to let Marte hit away. And it's a 6-9, which means we're on Bud Norris's card. Marte is right-handed, so we're in the red. Column 6, row 9. is a fly out. Let's see, row 6, row 9, I'm sorry, is a strikeout. I was reading number 8. Number 9 is actually a strikeout. So, Marte is out on strikes for the 3rd out. And we'll put the little line there to signify the end of the inning. Come down here to the line score and write in the 0. And now we can go up to the computer version and quickly enter all of those 4 at-bats. So first at-bat, again, was Pedro Alvarez. And he hit a line drive, L, to the second baseman. So we got L4. And then the next batter, Gaby Sanchez, also hit a line drive. And that was to the shortstop, Hardy, for out number 2. Neil Walker was hit by a pitch, but let's say I messed up and somehow I clicked on intentional walk. All right, that put him on first base. That's a mistake that I made. I can correct that mistake by hitting the eraser button, and that takes him off of first base, puts him back in the batter's box. I can come back over here and do my original intent, which is a hit by pitch. So now he's at first via the hit by pitch, and then Marte is up, and Marte strikes out to end the inning. And now you see the Pirates back in the field. Baltimore up, bottom of the 4th. Okay, I'm not going to play any more in the game right now, at least not for video purposes. I'll finish it up on my own. But I just wanted to give you an example of how I use this Replay Baseball PC version to help me in my Strat-o-matic 2014 Cards and Dice replay, as far as keeping my stats for me and double checking my score sheet and so forth. And it also will help me with the transactions that occur and the daily lineups, and for missing players like Jamel Weeks, who's not in the card set for Strat-o-matic. So it's like an assist as well. So it's, to me, it's using the best of both worlds to get a hybrid game that is really enjoyable. And I don't have the 2014 replay cards, obviously. I just have the computer version. And the only 2014 season cards I have are the Strat cards. For the other games, Payoff Pitch and History Maker Baseball, I have some of the older seasons like 77, but the only current 2014 one I have card-wise is Strat-o-matic. Now I do have the Diamond Mine computer game 2014 season, and I've done a video on Diamond Mine earlier. I may do another one, but those are the only 2. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was mildly entertaining in my bad camera work and my bad broadcasting. Hopefully what I did made sense, and the what to do when you don't have a card, as in Jamel Weeks. And that happens with some bullpen pitchers who didn't pitch very often, or maybe even the starter only got 2 starts during the season. Somebody got hurt. The computer version, of course, has everybody. When the computer games, they put everybody in. They're not missing anybody. It's just the card games or card versions that are missing some of the players. So this helps me to fill the gap and keep my season going. So right now I've got to go back and finish this game up on my own. Right now it's the bottom of the 4th. The Orioles did get a run in the bottom of the 2nd to cut the lead to 3-2. They could have gotten a lot more, but they had the bases loaded and 1 out, and Nelson Cruz struck out and Markakis lined to second to end that opportunity. So they only were able to get 1 run out of that. So we'll see what happens. Charlie Morton and Bud Norris, neither one of those starters go deep into the ball game, so if I can get six innings out of each one of them, that'll be fine. The fact it's the DH, I don't have to worry about pinch hitting for them, so they can go as long as the fatigue factor and the effectiveness factor say they can. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I didn't butcher too much of it. I'm going to post this on here as another game that I've tried, another version I've tried, and I don't know if anybody's ever thought about using this game, using the replay computer game to direct enter another card game besides replay, but it's a thought, And like I said, I do the 1975 cards for replay, and I have used that in unison with the computer. That's on a different video. Anyway, I hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to everybody later.